Hi, everybody.
Hello?
Oops. I have to stop talking to Siri. I'm going to wait and see if anybody comes on. I know I didn't give a lot of notice for this, but I'm trying to get them in when I can. It's been a little bit hectic. Hi, whoever's in first. Carol, yeah. Great to see you. I am so happy to see you always. I am very, very excitedly waiting for Thanksgiving. It's a very sentimental time of year for me, always has been. Yeah, I know, but I'm so glad you made it. I've not been on as regular a schedule as I had been because my life has gotten very hectic and getting a lot of stuff done and trying to do as much as I can with everything and, having a little bit of a life. So all of that is, well, not all of it is positive, but a good part of it is. So I'm happy about that. I feel as if I've got a little, well, you'll see in a couple of minutes what it is actually that I have on my face. I'm just so bad. I really am so bad. Every time it gets close to Thanksgiving, the first person I always think about, yes, I am. I am Carol and absolutely enjoying it. Hi, Barbara. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I hope you're doing something wonderful for the holidays. Are you are you in Wisconsin or did the kids come to you? Yeah, no, it's all good. And it's taught me a lot. It really has taught me a lot. And I really am happy that I reached out and I'm part of the world because I really needed it. I really needed to have a place outside of myself. I was living in a very, very tight little world. And when the stress came along, there was nothing to relieve it. So, no kids this year. So, you're going to just enjoy the weather of Arizona and relax. My daughter in law was sending some pictures. It's Thanksgiving week is always also her birthday week because her birthday is on the 28th. And I always think of my mother too because her birthday was on the 29th. So I think about that. I think it was Facebook that sent me a message this morning with an old post I had put on. I bet it is, Barbara. An old post that I had put on about Thanksgiving and something I had written. I might rerun it again because it's really, the sentiments are exactly the same no matter how many years go by. I used to get very sad after the kids moved away and after Thanksgiving became a very solitary kind of time for me, but it's different this year. I actually was invited to 3 different holiday things, and it was really nice, so I'm glad that I will not be home. Hopefully, I really wasn't feeling great the last couple of days. I hope I'm not coming down with anything. Trying to keep as healthy as I can, but I really am looking forward to going out. And I must tell you, Zach is loving school. He's absolutely loving it. And they have the most incredible food there. Michelle keeps sending pictures of these unbelievable meals that he served. So he's having a good old time. He really is. And Dylan is having a nice time because he gets to spend some alone time with his father, and that's a good thing too. Having been the second born, he never had that before. So now that is good. Now I have to tell you, how excited am I? Those of you who know me for any length of time, hi Denise. Those of you who know me for any length of time know that I have this predilection for anything chocolate. I know, Barbara. I would love to come out there. I really would. I want to come out there. Yeah, I want to be all out there. Although I watched the movie today, this morning. It was on, I guess, on demand. It was San Andreas. And after seeing that about the San Andreas fault, it's not exactly something that would make me want to go there. Are you ready for this? Look what I found. How exciting is this? I have been wanting these since I first had them at that Christmas party at my friend Linda's daughter's house. I think, was it last year or no, I think it was the year before last. I think it was. And they were so bloody good. Well, I found it in, I was in BJ's. So oh, they are dangerous. They are dangerous. But I have to tell you now, this is bizarre. This is 26.5 ounces, and I was about to buy them online because I wanted to bring it to give as a, as a gift and a thank you for inviting me for Thanksgiving dinner. So they had it online, and they only had a few left on Amazon. I think it was $26 and change. You will not, same thing, 26.5 ounces, same thing, $7.99. BJ's. Is that crazy? I got really, really excited. So, I mean, I can be really turned on by food. I'm so bad about sweets, and I know I shouldn't do it. Exactly. I mean, is that craziness or what? I also went a little over the top in that I got this as well. The Panera's broccoli cheese soup, and I had it for dinner. Yum, yum. How many did I buy? I bought 3 packages of these. They had a whole case of them. I was tempted to buy more. I really, really was. And I wasn't sure because there were 2 families involved. We're going out for Thanksgiving dinner, so I may bring 2 of these, and give one to each family because we're going to be eating out, and this way they can each take it home. And I think they're going to love it. I really, really think they're going to love it. So that is something to look forward to. I have a story to tell you. Exactly. I have a story to tell you about BJ's, and it was really, it was a lovely, lovely thing. I'm going to get pimples. I think worse than pimples. I'm just so bad. I have a real disease when it comes to that. I really have to blame my mother for that. I know. And take a look at this, by the way. What do you think? And no, I'm not engaged. Although I am married, I'll tell you that story. That was such a funny story. It's the holidays, exactly. I had one of these rings that I had bought, and I sold it on my Poshmark closet, and the girl wrote me the most, isn't that beautiful? Yes, it's gorgeous. I just got it in sizes 6, 7, 8, and 9 because I had one. No, no, no. Um, and I sold it, and the girl wrote the most wonderful, wonderful note on it. Let me see if I can find it because it was just so nice. Let me see. Um, I forgot. Let's see. I think I can find it this way. Oh, of course, I'm not getting online so quickly now. It is what it is. Okay, let me tell you my story about when I got to BJ's. My leg has been killing me, and I really haven't been feeling great. That was wonderful. I got a little side note that was really very cute. Love you, sweetheart. Um, okay, so I walked into BJ's and I wasn't feeling that great, and I'm having a little difficulty walking. Well, in all fairness, I deserve to have a problem walking because I've been doing a lot of work. I've been really trying to get things done in the house, and I have this disease that the way that the way that oh shoot, I think this is the wrong. Wait a second. What the heck? I'm not able to do anything normally right now. No, it's not here. It's the wrong. It's on the other phone that I took a picture. But oh well. Um I have so many thoughts running around in my head. Um oh, sheesh. I forgot. I forgot what I was saying. Son of a gun. I forgot which story I was going to tell you. Well, let me tell you the BJ story because that one's kind of sitting there right on my brain. I was feeling a little bit frightened about a marriage story. Oh, I'll tell you the marriage story. That's really very funny. It really is. It's a great story. I had walked into the store, and as I say, I was holding on to a cart. I walked in, and BJ's is huge. And feeling the way I did with my leg hurting the way it was, I suddenly got a little bit nervous when I walked in that was I going to be able to make it because the store was so big. So I started to walk. I don't think I got more than 10, 15 feet into the store when I suddenly heard, Jerry, hi, how are you? Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Sheila. And I looked up and I saw this guy, tall guy, standing there smiling at me. And he said to me, do you know who this is? Don't you hate when people do that to you? Now, in my business, I have known so many people over the years that it's really difficult. And I could not, for the life of me, conjure it up. And all of a sudden, he said to me, I recognized you the second I saw you. And he said, wow, do you look great? Turns out that it was a guy that I used to work for when I worked in hospital administration many, many years ago, probably 35 years ago. And he was young at the time. He was a young man just starting out in his career with a young wife and a brand new family. I actually moved out to this area because of him, because he was the only person I knew out here, and he had said how nice it was. And he was just a doll. We were closer in age. He was a little bit younger than I was. We were closer in age. And we used to chat about things, and he was just such a great guy and so easy to get along with. Well, I mean, fast forward 35 years, he was very thin at the time, very tall, had a big, wide mustache, and now he's got gray white hair. And oh, hi, it's nice to see you, Rosanna. And he was clean shaven. So we started talking, and it was amazing to me all the things that he remembered. He was asking me about David and what's happening with his life, and I was catching him up on that, and his two kids, and his kids are married now, and he has 4 grandchildren now, and all of the trials and tribulations that we've both been through over the years. He remembered, and I told him about the fact that I have, had some difficulties in the past couple of years. He knew that I was in real estate for a long time. And as I say, we just chatted about all that stuff, and I wanted to hug him. It was like walking down memory lane and having that experience of, hey, it was almost like recapturing our youth for a minute. He remembered my mother and my aunt. He remembered them coming to the hospital and, spending time with me. And he even remembered, because I said to him, his name is Eric, and I said, Eric, you're not going to believe this. I said, but a couple of days ago, all of a sudden I thought of you out of the blue. And he said, that doesn't surprise me. He said, you always knew things. And I said, oh my God, he remembered that from back then. And he's got one hell of a memory. He really does. So it was just lovely, lovely seeing him. I took yeah, I guess in both ways, we both did. And he also said to me that he remembered that I was very smart. And he just got into real estate because he just retired and he got into real estate as his second career. So I said, if you need anything, holler. If I can help you with anything, let me know. On that note, as well, and I took his phone number because I'm not going to let him get away again. I certainly want us to stay in touch on some level. I also heard from an old client. No, 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 he's not. No, I mean, I would have felt like he was kind of like my younger brother, if anything. Just, I guess we grew up together in that job. We worked together for about 5 years, and then he moved on because the hospital was going through a big change. At that time, they were going through a change in ownership, and when they do that, they want to just change all the upper echelon people. So that was the time that I decided that it was good to get into real estate and did. And he said to me he couldn't believe how many years I had been doing it. And again, it's got to be about 33 years that I'm in real estate. I got a text message today from one of my old clients. This is the one that Jackie and I went to dinner with a few weeks ago. And I had done a staging of her house before it went on the market, and it really looked so good. And she mentioned to me that she has a friend who's looking for a decorator now, and she wanted to know what I charge. And I told her, I suggested that she have her friend call me and that I come in and do a consult, that I wouldn't charge her for it. And I could give her an idea of what it would cost to do the job, because I can't give her an evaluation of it without knowing how extensive it is, how much work is involved. But if I could do that, I would be thrilled. I would really be thrilled. I mean, clearly, I still walk differently than most people. I'm very aware of, the steps and the pain on some days and whatever. But yes, Carol, absolutely. That would be a really fun thing to do. So I hope that that's a possibility. I don't know. And yeah, I would like that a lot. So I don't know. Oh, let me tell you the story now about me well, let me tell you about the marriage. There is this guy that I've become very close to, and oh, I hope it does, Barbara. I hope it does. It will help me on so many levels. I think psychologically, most of all, it would just be a great gift for me. So I hope it does work. Thanks. Um, so you have to forgive me, by the way. I have been up since 4 o'clock in the morning because I just wasn't feeling well last night and I could not sleep. I kept waking up. So if I'm a little incoherent tonight, that's why. I'm just really tired. I started to doze off while I was waiting to go on, and that's why I was a little bit late coming on today. But okay, this guy that I've become very, very close with, we became really good friends and sort of a real part of each other's lives, or so I thought. But we had a little bit of a glitch along the way. And I don't want to get into all the details of it, but everything is fine again. And he's extremely helpful. He really wants to help. When I had the problem with the sewer backup, he gave me some suggestions. He gave me somebody who could fix it for me. He's the kind of person who likes to fix everything, and he's anal. So it's a great combination for somebody to help you to get things accomplished, especially if you are the type, like I am, who is a procrastinator. So I tend to wait till the very last minute. There was actually a t-shirt I saw that said something like that. I forgot exactly how it was worded, but something about give me time, I'm waiting for the last minute or something like that. So I have this, my back door, the lock is it's not, yeah, I guess it's broken. The doorknob came loose. It didn't come loose like the old doorknobs that you could screw off. It doesn't come off. It comes out, and it doesn't engage the thing in the door that goes into the frame that locks the door. It's a long story. So I need to get it fixed. But, with all the other issues I've had, I have to set my priorities. So I kind of let that go by the wayside a little bit. And he finally said to me, he said, "Listen, I'm really good at fixing things. Maybe I can do this for you." And I said, "Well," I said, "I'm really not sure." Now he had never been to my house, so the other day he said he would come over, and I said, "Fine." I said, "You're going to have to ignore the stuff that I'm working on because I'm in the middle of a mess, doing cabinets and closets and all kinds of stuff." So he came over to the house and he took a look at the lock, the doorknob, and realized that it was too big a job for him. It didn't have any screws in the doorknob to detach it. There's some other way of snapping it off or whatever the heck you do. So I needed a locksmith. Well, of course, as with everything else, he has a locksmith. He's got everything. If you need something done, you can count on this guy to help you get it done. So he called his friend, the locksmith, and he got me a price for it, but I wasn't ready to act on it yet because I have other priorities that I'm shifting around. And I said I would let him know. So we spent some time together. We wound up going out for lunch. We chatted for about 7 hours. No, I'm kidding. But we chatted probably for about 4 hours because he loves to talk. And then I came home and that was it, or so I thought. Later that night, I was working on my store and I was doing some things online. And then he calls me through Messenger. So he called me, and while I was talking to him, he said, "My phone is ringing." And he ignored it the first time. He thought it was a telemarketer or something, but it was late. It was close to 10 o'clock at night. I said, "They don't call this late." And the person called a second time. So after the second call, I said, "Pick up the phone, find out who's on." So he picked up the phone and he's talking to this guy. And what he had done was, because he wanted to see if this friend of his, the locksmith, was giving me, hi, Lauren, if this friend of his, the locksmith, was giving me a good price. So in order to determine that, he went to Home Advisor and he put in my address and my name and all that information. And he said that he was me or whatever, and that he needed to have this done and he wanted to know how much it was going to cost. So this guy called and he gave him a range. He said that, without seeing it, he doesn't know exactly what he's dealing with, but he gave him a probable range of 125 to 150. So, um, at that point, apparently the guy said to him, of course, if you want to take a picture of the doorknob, I can get a better idea of what I'm dealing with, and I'll know what I can do, and perhaps I can even fix it. Now, he is in his home. I am in my home, quite a distance apart, and he's talking to this guy, but he's talking to me at the same time. So he put the speaker of his phone next to the speaker on the iPad that he was talking to me on. And then apparently he wanted to get me to send a picture to this guy. So he said to him, hold on for a minute. I'll have my, and he hesitated for a second, and he said, I'll have my wife send you, send you a picture of the doorknob. So it took everything in me not to bust out laughing. The guy hung up, and I said to him, wow. Now, this guy who was a friend of yes, yes. So this guy who is a friend of mine, he's never been married. So I said to him, I said, you've managed to stay single all these years. I said, and look at that, you got married to me in a phone call. And I said, how hilarious is this? So I said, from now on, I'm just going to call you hubby. But every time I think of it, it just gets me absolutely hysterical. And he said, I was going to say to him, my friend, but he had to think of something fast, and it just absolutely cracked me up. So I am now sort of married. That's my story. What can I tell you? But on that level, I am definitely having some fun. I will tell you also, I just heard from some other guy very, very recently online. I totally ignored it, but there was something about it that I wanted to. There was something rather strange about it. I mean, geographically, the guy is very good for me because he lives very close by. He's 45, and he's telling me he'd be very interested in meeting me and going out with me. And I said to myself, okay, he's 45. What is he looking for? A mother? A bank book? If it's a bank book, has he come to the wrong place? Um, I don't know. So ordinarily, I wouldn't even write back because I would think it was so bizarre. But I mean, he sounded sincere in what he wrote. So I just wrote back to him and I said, let me ask you something. I said, you're 45. You are indeed young for me. I said, are you attracted specifically to older women? And then I said, what are you looking for in a relationship? Because what it says to me is that if somebody's looking for somebody so out of their age range or so out of the realm of what a typical, I don't want to say normal because I don't think there is any such thing, but a typical relationship would be, he wants a mama. That's what I would think also. And he wrote back to me, and I mean, he wrote back to me, yes, he's attracted to older women, and he's had two great relationships with older women. And I thought, what? So, I mean, clearly it's not for me, it's not my style, but I thought it was interesting. Oedipus, yeah. And I didn't want to get into the whole, I mean, he told me he had two rather long-term, well, longer-term relationships with older women. One of them found somebody closer to her own age ultimately, and the other one moved down to Florida. And I thought, well, those two things sound appropriate to me, to each their own, right? And I thought, okay, just whatever works. But it was interesting to me. So that is my story now. I mean, yeah, life is busy, and I am trying very hard to keep my head above water. There are times when I'm kind of, going glub, 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 but there are times when I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to live each day just as it is and take it wherever it's heading me and hope that it's heading me to a good place. One of my friends from the new group of people that I had met since I started going out, and this guy is a friend through another guy. Have I done any reading? No, I haven't done it yet. And I really want to do it. And I'm recognizing it definitely still is there. Because just knowing this thing about Eric, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And yes, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Yes, it's a very special time of the year, certainly for me. It's a time of great reflection. So anyway, this other guy he's older. He's in his 80s and he has not been feeling well. He's run into some issues that are probably associated with heart failure. He does fill with fluid and he's been in the hospital a couple of times. I listen, that doesn't sound so age inappropriate. That's not a big difference. That's only 12 years. It's a whole heck of a lot more than that. You know something? I really think that we all deserve the opportunity to have a good life, to have really, I really believe that. Because I think we're all old souls or some older than others, but still, I think we connect on a spiritual level so often, and I think there's nothing wrong with it. Really, really, your mom was 32 and your father was 19. Did they stay together long term, Rosanna? Exactly. I think that people should enjoy whatever it is that they have, whatever time that they have. And I think it's really important. Life goes by so fast. I mean, this guy that I was telling you about, he's in the hospital right now. This is the second time. Absolutely, Carol. You've been through your tough times. I've been through mine. So many of us have. And I think just being able to reach out and be part of the world. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, that does happen too. Yeah, that's sad. Rosanna was saying no, he couldn't stay with anybody too long, talking about her father and her mother's relationship. But I don't see anything wrong with a woman being older than a man any more than I see it in reverse because it's always been acceptable the other way. I mean, I laugh sometimes when I look at the profiles of men in their 70s or sometimes even in their 80s who say that they're really attracted to women in their 50s and 60s. And I'm like, go to it, enjoy yourself. And that's always been okay. But the reverse always makes people, well, it causes raised eyebrows, to be sure. And I think it's time for that to stop. He's really funny. Oh, that's wonderful. That really is wonderful. To me, somebody having a sense of humor is so important. It really is so important. I have been laughing more in the last few months than I have in years because to have somebody that you can spend time with and laugh with and enjoy their company. It is. It really is. It's just so important. Enjoy whatever time you have with whoever makes you happy, as long as the relationship is not or doesn't turn toxic. I think it's really good to have the time together and just enjoy it for what it is. Wherever it goes, it goes. And I'm kind of letting life lead me down whatever road I'm meant to travel at this moment in time. I'm just hoping my health holds out. All the stress that I've been under for the past several months, I fear that it will take its toll medically. I pray that it doesn't. As long as I can keep that, that's what's important. Oh yes, I've had people in my house. Yes. You lost your husband 5 years ago. You think you're done. You may be. Listen, I was alone for a very long time because my feeling was because the last major relationship I had turned out to be very hurtful to me because the man I was madly in love with was a pathological liar. So, yeah, yeah, Lauren, I have. And it's wonderful to be able to let somebody in the house. It really is. Funny thing is also when this guy came to help me, he's a crazy clean guy. Crazy clean. I mean, I said he had invited me into his place to show it to me. He had bought a condo and he wanted me to see it and what he had done to it. And he apologized ahead of time, telling me that it was messy. Not. It was not messy. Put an apron on him. That's a great idea. But um, I said, if a speck of dust found its way into his house, it would run for its life because everything was perfect. He reminded me very much of my husband. My husband was that way. He was just extraordinarily clean and organized. Like he liked the cans. He liked the cans in the cupboard to face the same direction like soldiers. So it was really funny. He hated when I got a cold, and if there were tissues all over the bed, it would drive him crazy. He hated, yeah, your husband's like that? That's really funny. But yeah, it makes it difficult. So I was afraid to have him in my house because my house is not there. It's really not. It's way better than it was. Widowed 8 years. You may not be interested in it now, and that's fine. And you may never, and it's all okay. But there may come a day when you suddenly say to yourself, you know something, the relationship, you can have wonderful relationships with your friends, and it's great, but there is something. Yeah, it's really, really easy to say that though, Denise. You never know where life is going to take you. You just don't. I mean, for me, again, it's been a very, very long time. And I never thought I would be interested anymore. And I think in my case, I probably reached out initially because I needed to get outside of myself. I needed, yeah, a super rich, smart man that isn't home much. Yeah, and none of that has come into my life. And it's okay because it's been really, really good for me. I don't focus on all the horrible things. I didn't think about it for years, Rosanna. I, Carol, I am thrilled for you. I think it's wonderful. I really think it's wonderful. I'm very, very happy for you. It's interesting, and I find that there are a lot of younger men who seem to contact me, probably more younger men than older than myself. I'm delighted for you, Carol. I really am. I think that's what happens sometimes. It's when you least expect it. I mean, life sometimes just takes over. It does. You're done with diapers, young or old. I love that. I really love that. Yeah. You just never know. You never know where life is going to take you, and you're just along for the ride. So hopefully it's going to take you someplace good for the most part. And for you, Carol, we were so worried about you for such a long time when you disappeared that I'm just so happy for you. Yeah. And that's interesting too, because my friend Linda, one of the guys has a friend who was looking for somebody to go out with. And I had spoken to Linda about it. And Linda, the guy that she had been seeing for the last number of years, died recently. And she said, I'm not ready to go through that again. I'm just not ready to go through that again. So, I tend to wonder. In her case, I honestly feel that it would be so beneficial to her to be to spend time with somebody else, to think about something else. I think having wonderful women friends is really great. It really is. I think it means a lot. But at a certain point, only if it feels right, there I mean, it's nice to go out with a guy. It's nice to do things and to turn to somebody and to share the experience of something, and either it was beautiful or if something is difficult or disturbing or whatever. On the plus side and the minus side, it's really helpful to know that you're not in all of it alone. It's nice. And if you happen to meet somebody that you're really attracted to, isn't that a gift? It's really wonderful. So I think if it's meant to be, God bless, and that's it. Even just flirting, exactly. That's another thing, Carol, that I think is interesting. Um, I didn't flirt for so many years. I didn't know if I knew how to flirt anymore. Well, it's like riding a bicycle. And it's fun flirting a little bit. It really is fun. I'm enjoying it. As a matter of fact, Linda said at one point, she said, "Oh my God, you two are acting like teenagers." What's terrible about that? We have so many things in our lives that are difficult, and as we get older, that are more serious and create lots of aggravation in our worlds. It is, exactly. It really is fun. I think it's wonderful. I am like, Carol, that's really super. I'm so happy for you. It's terrific. And yeah, I've met other women through all of this too, and that has been great. It all started with my group of wonderful close friends that I've made here, and it made me feel as if I was part of a greater world or an expanding world, and that was nice because so much. Yeah, that's really funny. Michelle was saying at 68, her single friends always spot an attractive man that she doesn't notice. And I think that that really is true. You don't notice until and unless you do. And you only do if you open up your heart to, David said something to me recently that I play over and over again in my brain quite often. And I had mentioned to him about my going out, and Just thinking about the funny story about that. Okay. Um, but I said to him one day, I was telling him about it, and I said, well, what do you think about it? And he said to me, he said, it's whatever makes your heart happy. And I thought, what a wonderful thing to say. He said, how do you feel when you know he's coming over? How do you feel when you're with him? How do you feel when he leaves? Does it make you sad? So I play those things over and over again now. And I said, he's really right. It's all about what makes your heart happy because time goes by. Listen, the clock is ticking. And it's not to say that we have to have somebody in our lives, and we certainly don't. But if you want to, it's a good thing. So, I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I think relationships, you never get that butterfly feeling. Well, the butterfly it's interesting. I find for me it's not like it was when I was young and you would see somebody across the room and you would feel your heart fluttering. I remember once I lived in an apartment complex and they had a parking garage under the building. So they would drive in and go down this steep decline, and go into the garage. And one day, as I parked my car and came out of the garage, there was a guy standing there, um, animal attraction. There was a guy standing there, and we just looked at each other, and there was that instant magnetism. You could not miss it. I stood there and looked at him and thought, oh my God, he's gorgeous. And he must have had some attraction to me also. And then it was gone, and I never saw him again. So it was that fleeting moment. But I think we do have moments in our lives like that. And I think it's great at any age. We are entitled. You're not dead because because you get AARP magazine. I think life goes on, and I think younger people tend to think that we shouldn't have those feelings. So, yeah, I'm letting life play out exactly the way it plays out, and I'm not trying to script it. I'm just not trying to script it. So, it's really it's uh it's really good. It does surprise you. Sometimes it surprises the hell out of you, but it's all good. It's not all good. There's some terrible times in it, but if we kind of let it take its natural course of events, it can be interesting. It really can be interesting. So I am enjoying that part of it and trying to get through all the rest of it. And as I said, I always have the feeling that that God talks to me through Poshmark. I know that sounds so weird, but they send me these little short messages every day that are so apropos in my world that I just feel like God's talking to me. And it makes me smile. And it makes me feel as if I can go on to the next thing. And there was a great thing that I wanted to put out today. And I don't know which one of my phones it's on. It may be the other one. All photos. Just bear with me for a minute. No, it's on the other phone. No, I don't have it here. But some of these wonderful, wonderful motivational sayings, it's like, it's absolutely true. And I know that they're relevant for so many people. I know even though we're in different places in our lives and we're walking down different roads, so many of the same things tend to hit us. What was that? Yes, the things that I post on Instagram. I just, I feel when you had an online bookstore, you thought he was talking to you. Really? Um, yeah, I feel that we are led to certain things. I think, it's serendipity. All of a sudden, something is there when you need it. This meditation thing came up just when I needed it. I thought it was really great. Exactly. The titles and types of books. That's happened to me so many times. I used to sometimes randomly walk into a bookstore, and invariably I would come upon a certain book that just spoke to me, and I knew I had to read that book, that there was something in that book that was important for me to know. And I did it so much of the time. Now everything I do is online, and it's so different in that regard. Oh, by the way, this is a quick aside, because mentioning online, I just wanted to mention that David and Rachel, the business is back and running, and knock wood, it seems to be going well. They are they appear to be really, yes, it is nice. They appear to be really on the right path this time, and they have somebody who created some spots for them that are going to be online. They're not on yet, but they're wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and I'm happy for them. So the site is up and running and everything else. Yeah, I'm so grateful for it for them, because they went through a hellish time with it. But again, I really believe when we go through terrible times in our lives, we really, really, if we pay attention, learn great lessons from it. And David often shares with me now that some of the toughest times in his life have really taught him about what is important and what is not important. And he is always talking to me about the fact that the stuff is not important. The stuff is just not important. And he had to be down to those 4 bins. It's actually, it is Jackie's Cookies, but it's called cookiebabies.com. It's still Jackie's Cookies, but the company name was, I believe, changed to cookiebabies.com. And they have a new one that I'm dying to try. I really need to tell them. They were actually moving today, so they're in the middle of a crazy time, because they're moving out of the home they were living in into another place for now. And so they were getting the bakery set up for the holidays and making this move and doing all this other stuff. So it's definitely crazy time for them. Um, they have this new one. It's chocolate cookies, but it's like a mint chip. And actually, even when they had done the show, Marcus had tasted it and said that those were his new favorites. They look so good, but they're seasonal. I think they only do it this time of year. So I want to tell him I really want to get some of those. I, although I should really stay away from all this stuff. I should stay away from like, step away from those cookies, step away from the chocolates. I really get addicted to that stuff, and it's hard. It's really hard. So I try to be better, but if it's in the house, I'm not good. So it is what it is on that level. But yeah, what can I tell you? That is wonderful, Lauren. That's great. Lauren was saying she was able to reverse the diabetes into a normal range and lose 2 sizes. Yeah, I had done really well with my A1C after my surgery, and for a long while after, it was down to 6.1, 6.4. And I know they want you to keep it under 6, but it's still fine at that. And yeah, I was doing very well with my weight. When I was going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, I would weigh myself every time. So I was very, very careful. If I gained a pound or two, I would be cautious for a little while and I would keep control of it. But I haven't been going lately. So that does not help me at all. It really doesn't. And I've gotten very, very sloppy. And of course, I'm eating out more. So that's made it difficult because I want to eat what's good, not always what's best for me. However, when I was in BJ's today, you're at 5.6. Wow, that is incredible. And your blood pressure went down. My blood pressure's been pretty good most of the time, except when I forget to take my pills. And I do forget, sadly. That morning pill, the nighttime pill, I'm really good with because it's right there on my nightstand. I take it the last thing before I go to bed. But the morning pills, I tend to forget sometimes, and that causes a bit of havoc occasionally with me. But yeah, no, so when I was at BJ's today, I bought a big thing of organic baby spinach because I want to start to do my green drinks again. I bought some gala apples. I wanted to make an apple crumble because I thought it would be a nice thing to bring along also for Thanksgiving, to just bring something that I had, to contribute something to dinner. But yeah, I got a whole bag of apples. They're just beautiful, and I love to cook with the gala apples. I think they're very tasty, so it's nice. Yes, those pears are so good. Yes, they do have a nice website, don't they? Yeah, David takes care of all that web stuff. And yeah, I really think they have a nice website at this point. And apparently, knock wood, things are going much more smoothly this time around. And I pray that it stays that way because wow, that was a lot of stress all around. So I'm happy to see that. So just know if I stay on meat and green veggies, off most starch, very very little fruit. Yeah, well, I don't actually eat all that much fruit, to be honest with you. I used to have much more. I try to have a banana almost every day with my cereal. I really like strawberries with my cereal the most, in truth. I really would love peaches the most, but I haven't had a peach that tasted like a peach in years, so that was easy to give up. I bought some fresh pineapple last week, so I had strawberries, pineapple, and bananas, and I had a little bit of that. But when I make the green the smoothies, there's so much good stuff in it. I mean, I put carrot in it. I put a slice of orange in it. I'll put a slice of lemon in it. I put uh, red grapes. I love red grapes. Apple. In the summertime, I love to throw a little bit of watermelon in it. And typically, I put in both spinach and kale. And what else? Did I say banana? I usually put in a half a banana. I put other vegetables in there though. Sometimes I put a little bit of beet in it, but it's so good. It really is so good. Jiffy mix, sour cream, butter, cheddar cheese. It's it sounds good. Hi, Carla. Hi. Wow, that looks so fun. That whatchamacallit, the Presley thing, that really did. it looks so interesting. A lot of interesting stuff going on lately. I was watching Bella's video about her trip and all the places that she got to go to, and seeing the visit to yeah, to Graceland, or I forgot what it was. Was that where people stay at Graceland? I forgot. I looked at it very, very quickly. But yeah, so lots of interesting stuff going on. All right, it is just a little over an hour. You stayed at Graceland. I saw the pictures going down that staircase with the mirrors on the walls. It looked fascinating. It really did. So yeah, I want to know more about that stuff. That looked interesting. So, okay, I think on that note, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to say goodnight this time. Oh, good. Yeah, I really want to see that. You making corn casserole? I almost bought corn to do that, but I did not, because actually we're eating out, so it's not like I have to bring as many things as I typically would. But I want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you get to spend it with the people that you care about. And yeah, and just take care of yourselves. Whatever it is that you're doing in life that gives you pleasure, enjoy it. Just relax. Be the best you that you can be on any given day. That's all any of us can do. So I'm going to try to come back on Thursday is, today is Monday? Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. Yeah, today's Tuesday. Oh, Kathy, hi, I didn't see you. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Michelle. Throw the diet away for one day. Absolutely. Yeah, Denise, enjoy it with those people. I really know that you will. And yeah, we can talk about what we did for Thanksgiving the next time we meet and take it from there. So I love you all, and I'm so glad we got to spend this time together. I always want to burst out in song when I say that. Takes me back to the old Carol Burnett show. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you. It's great to be able to be here, and I'm so glad to share it with all of you. Good night, Carol. I'm so glad you made it. I hope you can catch it the next time. I typically would come on Wednesday. It's not going to happen. I've got Thursday, Thanksgiving. So on the weekend, well, probably, I don't know. I will let you know on Instagram and on the Facebook page the next time I come on. Maybe I can come on Friday night. I'm not sure. We'll see how it plays out. So take care, everybody. Good night.